Hey fellas, Snorkel MMA here, and welcome to my predictions for UFC 307, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. So this card is, it's a weird one. It's not too bad, like the fights are pretty decent in it, I feel like. The main event is weird, you know. I don't know why the fuck it's not, who's that Russian? Ankalaev. I have no idea why it's not Ankalaev, and Ankalaev is fighting Rakic. I mean, everyone's saying the same thing, that it should be him versus Pereira. You know, I heard that maybe Ankalaev actually turned it down because he wanted to, like, dictate the date, but I don't know if that's confirmed, but I do feel like UFC might be protecting Pereira a little bit. Okay, so moving on to the first fight, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. I'm going to go Alex Pereira by round 1 KO. So yeah, this is based off just Roundtree's really pretty shitty record. Like, he's lost to some pretty bad guys. Like, he lost to Marcin Prachnio, Ian Cutelaba, Johnny Walker. He got round 1 KO by Johnny Walker, I'm pretty sure. And, you know, his recent fight with Anthony Smith was actually kind of close before he knocked him out. Like, it was not as impressive as it should be. And, you know, I feel like it's kind of like you could say it's like Charles Oliveira situation where he just, you know, he had like a pretty, you know, journeyman-ish early start to his career, then he just kind of went to a new level. But the problem is he hasn't fought enough ranked competition to make that statement yet, you know. Like, he's only fought one guy in the top, like, 15, and it was freaking Anthony Smith, you know. You know, Anthony Smith is washed max, and he was never even that good to begin with. So, you know, it's pretty hard to say that, you know, he's, like, going to a new level when he's only really fought one decent guy. And Pereira is just, you know, no loss to light heavyweight, hasn't even come, like, the Janbovich fight was close, but, you know, other than that, just complete domination at light heavyweight. He's on his third title defense. And you could say, you know how he got knocked out by Izzy, you know, but you have to remember that was at middleweight, so he's never even gotten sparked at all in light heavyweight. Like, the Yarn fight was close, but it's not like Pereira was ever rocked. Granted, he's never really eaten any clean shots, so you could say if Khalil Roundtree gets a clean shot, he might knock him out, which is true, he might. But I think what's going to happen is Khalil Roundtree Jr. will charge in early, make like a really poor mistake, just kind of like Jamal Hill, and he'll just get left hooked, countered, and just knocked out in the first round, I think. I could see this being like a GSP Matt Zero situation where Alex Pereira is just really not taking it seriously enough, and he just gets like flash KO'd. But I think that's quite unlikely. I could see it happening. I have like a weird feeling it is going to happen, but I feel like it's quite unlikely. Okay, moving down to Raquel Pennington versus Julianna Pena, the co-main event. I mean, you know, whatever. Julianna Pena, I guess, is kind of an interesting, at least she has, you know, some kind of charisma. Raquel Pennington is boring as fuck. Yeah, but I'm going to go Pena by submission in round 3. So, I think Pennington is probably a bit more solid on the feet, but if you look at Pennington's record, she has 1 KO. All the rest of the decisions, I think she has like 2 submissions. Whereas Pena actually has like 3 KOs, 4 submissions, 3 decisions. So I think that what it'll do is she'll be kind of getting pieced up on the feet, but she'll take Pena down and submit her, I think. I think it'll happen in round 3. I think that maybe she'll get pieced up the first round, like she won't be able to get her down, like Pennington will deny the thing, but then Pennington will start to get gassed at altitude, and eventually she will get taken down. I think maybe she'll get taken down near the end of round 2 and get ground and pounded, and then round 3 she'll get taken down and submitted. Yeah, I think Julianna Pena's got this, bro. Like, Raquel Pennington never finishes anybody, and, you know, say what you will about Pena, you know, her fucking robot, you know, that fucking that shit where she just charged on like a spastic on Nunes, but, you know, if she could just do that, take her down, and yeah, I don't really see how Raquel Pennington wins. I feel like Pena's just so much more dangerous. The only way she can win is she legit always keeps it on the feet and never gets taken down, which I don't see happening. Okay, moving down to what should be the co-main. Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. I'm going to go Aldo by decision. So yeah, I think that this being a 3-round fight really favors Aldo. You know, he's kind of famous for taking rounds off to save his gas tank. But I think 3 rounds, even at elevation, I think he'll easily win 2 out of the 3 rounds. Like, maybe he'll take 1 round off. Like, maybe he'll take round 3 off because he's pretty sure he's won round 1 and 2 or something like that. But yeah, I think that Mario Bautista and Martinez are very similar level, and Aldo, like, decisively beat Martinez. So yeah, I think that this is a clear Aldo dub. I'm pretty confident about this, and Bautista's actually the favorite, so Aldo's actually the dog. I don't really see how. Like, is Bautista that much better than Martinez? I don't think so. And yeah, 3 rounds is like, that's Aldo's fucking fight to win, IMO. Okay, moving down to Kayla Harrison versus Kettlen Vieira. I'm going to go Kayla Harrison by TKO ground and pound, round 2. Harrison's actually coming in as the minus 800 favorite, which isn't surprising. I'm buying into the Kayla Harrison hype train, bro. I think she's like a female comes at. Like, she's actually an outstanding outlier female athlete, which is extremely fucking rare. Like, when's the last time a female athlete actually had hype like this around her? I can't even remember, like, ever. Maybe Nunes, but I think she kind of built that hype up gradually. Like, Kayla Harrison actually has hype around her. Yeah, she reminds me of a female comes out. I think that she's gonna maybe Kettlen Vieira will deny some takedowns at the very start of round 1, but then I think at the end of round 1, I don't think she's going to be like even piecing Kayla Harrison up on the feet. I think it'll be pretty even-ish. Maybe Vieira will be winning a little bit on the feet, but I think at the end of round 1, Harrison will eventually get a shot, take her down, deal some damage, but she'll get saved by the bell. And then at the start of round 2, she'll take her down and finish her, just ground and pound. Because Vieira has pretty good BJJ, so I don't think she's going to get submitted, but maybe. I don't know. The only thing that I'm worried about is, of course, the elevation. And if you think of people like Kayla Harrison that are really explosive, like Kamzat, Connor, people that are really explosive, it's kind of, I saw a thing on Joe Rogan Experience, that basically the really explosive fighters, they get tired because basically they have the fast twitch eyebrow. They don't have like the constant, output. Like, people that have high output do less damage, like Max Holloway, Colby Covington. But people that are really explosive, like Kamzat, Connor, they usually gas out. And at elevation, so I think if Vieira survives like the midpoint of round 2, it might be going downhill fast and maybe she will lose, but I think that she'll take it down at the start of round 2 and finish it, pretty sure. Okay, moving down to Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. I'm going to go Kevin Holland by submission round 1. I see this kind of similar to the Michael Chiesa fight. I think there might be a very similar ending to this. I think Holland's much better at welterweight. I'm only picking him because I think Roman Dolidze is pretty dog water. So I think that he will get this, but I think Kevin Holland should really stay at welterweight if he wants to actually make a push. I think his strategy is to just bounce between and kind of fight like 10 and above. Like, he never wants to fight people below 10, he just kind of wants to make as much money as possible just fighting people that aren't that good. Which, it's kind of cringe, but, whatever. If he wants to do that to make money, that's up to him, you can't fault him for that. If that's a legitimate strat, you can't really fault him for it. So yeah, I don't rate Dolidze high at all. I think that Anthony Smith performance was fucking awful, bro. Like, Anthony Smith was like absolutely gassed, it felt like, and he had absolutely nothing, and Dolidze barely did any damage to him. It was an awful fight. It just showed that Dolidze has no threat, and he doesn't even have that much output. And so he will about Holland, like, he's got a bad mentality. He gives up a lot of fights through frustration and wanting to seem like the cool guy, like the nonchalant dreadhead. Like, he really likes that appeal of being like a chill guy that doesn't really give a fuck, and he throws away a lot of shots trying to maintain that aura. But I think that he will piece him up on the feet. That's 100%. And if Dolidze takes him down, I think that he has legitimate submissions off the back. He'll either submit him or he'll use a submission to get back up. At least 2 out of the 3 rounds he'll win, I think. The only way I see Dolidze winning is if he legit takes Holland down all 3 rounds and controls him for the majority of the time. But even if he does that, I feel like Holland would get a little bit of damage off before, so he might even still win. But yeah, the only way I see Dolidze winning is like a grapple grape. But I think that it's more likely that Kevin Holland will finish him off his back, I think. Or he'll win by just having more output on the feet and denying takedowns. Okay, moving down to Stephen Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. How do you even pronounce his first name? I don't know. I just always call him Buckley. I'm going to go Buckley by decision. I think that Buckley's going to be too explosive for Thompson to consistently deny takedowns. And we've seen that, Thompson's not really super good at getting back up off the feet. Unfortunately, I'm a Thompson fan, but I feel like Thompson might deny some takedowns and get some offense off on the feet and then get taken down. But I think that Buckley will take him down at least 2 out of the 3 rounds and control him and get some damage off on the ground, I don't really see how Thompson wins this. I think Buckley's just a bit too explosive. I could see this being really close, like maybe he's denying takedowns at the start of the rounds, and then he's doing enough damage before he gets taken down to like make it like, oh, Buckley had control, but Thompson got more damage off. Because I feel like Buckley will be kind of really holding him down, not doing that much damage off the ground. Like he won't want to posture up too much because he's going to be worried that Thompson will get up, which he might. So I think it could be really close, and I think it'll be a Buckley decision, but I could actually see it being that a lot of people are saying that Thompson won it off damage. But I think Buckley will actually get his hand raised, maybe by split decision. And yeah, if Buckley does win this, I don't know, Thompson might retire. If Thompson loses this, it's kind of like the first loss he's had that wasn't a higher-ranked fighter or someone with a lot of hype, like Shovkat. Like, Buckley's number 11, and he doesn't really have that much hype. Like, he's kind of seen as a decent fighter, but he's not, like, hype like Shavkat. So, yeah, I could see Thompson retiring, or he could just hold on. I don't know. I did see in his media day that he said that he has absolutely no plans on retiring, so maybe he will stick around. I think that he could still fight, like 7 to 15 strikers. He could still make that a really entertaining fights, I just don't think he can't deal with Buckley's explosiveness. Okay, moving down to Marina Rodriguez versus Iasmin Lucindo. I'm going to go Rodriguez by decision. So Rodriguez has fought much better competition. I've got them written down here. She's got wins over Xian Yan and Mackenzie Dern. Whereas Lucindo hasn't really fought anyone besides Carolina Kazal, like the Swedish chick that fought Joanna in her prime. But she's like 40 almost. And I don't really think that's like, she was decent-ish back in the day, but she's like 40 now. So yeah, I think that Rodriguez is just going to use her experience and like fight IQ to just squeak this one out. Maybe by taking her down and controlling her, because Lucindo is quite a good striker. Yeah, so looking at the fight, you might be like, oh, Rodriguez is 37, that's a bit old for WMA. But on the other end of the coin, Lucindo is 22 though. So, it's like experience versus inexperience, and I think that just the fight IQ is really important in women's MMA, because, the skill isn't as high as men's MMA, maybe, that's what someone told me. So I think fight IQ plays a really big part into the game of WMA. Okay, moving down to Ihor Potieria versus Cesar Almeida. I'm going to go Almeida by round 1 KO. Remember, Almeida is 1 win, 1 loss against Pereira in kickboxing, and he's also training with Pereira at Elevation. I've also noticed, I think that they kind of feed this Potieria guys to strikers that they want to, like, push. Because I think that, Potieria engages in the striking and he's better than he thinks he is, and he gets chinned. I've just noticed because he fought Carlos Olberg, Michelle Pereira, both got finished both in round 1. That's like obviously stars that UFC is trying to push. And also there's this guy, Rodolfo Bellato, that had like a really cool Contender Series fight. I actually was pretty hard on him as well. But his recent fight, he was pretty shit. But yeah, he also KO'd Potieria. So yeah, I feel like they kind of use him as a tool to push strikers. I don't know, it's a bit of a conspiracy theory. But yeah, anyway, I think that Almeida's going to get in by KO round 1. I feel like Poteria's a bit chinny. He is kind of decent-ish, but he's a bit chinny. And he's like, doesn't really have that high fight IQ. He kind of just like strikes with strikers that are better than him recklessly, feels like to me. Okay, moving down to Alexander Hernandez versus Austin Hubbard. So I'm going to go Hubbard by decision. So this Hernandez MF, bro, he's the guy that chinned Beneil Dariush in round 1, and everyone always acts like he's about to go on a big winning streak. It was a fluke, okay? It was a fucking fluke, bro. He's lost 4 out of his last fights, and they weren't against ranked people. They were against pretty, entertaining fighters, but shitty fighters, Damon Jackson, Bill Algeo, Billy Q. Like, I like all 3 of those guys. But, you have to admit they're not elite. Like, I really like Billy Q, but, bro, he's just... They're not elite, and, Hernandez isn't elite. Austin Hubbard also isn't elite, but I feel like he's very solid. I actually fuck with Hubbard. I feel like he's quite a solid fighter. And, yeah, I feel like he's much better than Hernandez. So, yeah, I think that he's going to get the decision. Okay, moving down to Carla Esparza versus Tecia Pennington 2, the second. I'm going to go Esparza by decision. Just Esparza has a way better record than Tecia Pennington. And Tecia's actually the favorite for some reason. I don't really understand why. Like, Esparza's record's actually kind of nutty, if you look at her record. She's got wins over Nama Yunus, Xian Yan, Grasso, and Jandaroba. That's like basically all of the division. Like, if she wins this and then gets the champ. Like, she won't even have anyone to verse. Whereas Pennington, Tecia Pennington, loses most of her high-level fights, losses to Dern, Whaley, and Andrade. She always loses the high-level fights. And yeah, I think that Esparza's got a pretty... The reason why she wins is she's got a very perfect style. It's kind of like Pena, but less dangerous. Like, Pena actually has finishing ability, whereas Esparza just kind of holds people down. But yeah, I think that she'll hold Tecia Pennington down for 2 out of the 3. I actually enjoy Tecia's stand-up game. I feel like she's actually a really fun striker. But yeah, I feel like she will get taken down. Like, Esparza's pretty solid, and Tecia Pennington's not as solid. I feel like she's a good striker, but yeah. And they're both kind of old. So, yeah. I feel like with the age, it'd be harder to defend takedowns than get them at an older age. I don't know. I don't even really know how to justify that. That's just kind of what my brain's thinking. Okay, moving down to Ovince St. Preux versus Ryan Spann. I'm going to be going Ryan Spann by KO round 1. So OSP's been KO'd 3 times since 2020. And yeah, even though that Anthony Smith loss is actually diabolical work from Ryan Spann, like how the actual fuck do you lose to Anthony Smith? I think he's lost 4 in a row. I didn't write it down. I'm pretty sure he's lost 4 in a row. So he's going to be taking this super seriously. OSP has gotten chinned a lot recently. I think he's gotten chinned 3 times. Yeah, he's gotten chinned 3 times in the last 4 years, like since 2020. And, you know, Ryan Spann does have legit power. This is all or nothing for Ryan Spann. And I feel like Ryan Spann's the type of guy where he's really force lock, and he does. And I feel like he will find... I don't think it'll take much to knock OSP out at this point. Yeah. Although, I could see Ryan Spann... If Ryan Spann loses to OSP, this motherfucker must be cut. It has to be done. It doesn't matter that he has kind of a cool, like, name and kind of, like, I don't know, like the Superman tattoo carries him, bro. I feel like the only reason he hasn't been cut is because of that tattoo, and people just kind of know his name. Like, I feel like casuals kind of know his name somehow. But if he loses to OSP, this motherfucker has to be cut. Because the only way he loses to OSP is if he actually never he never takes an entry into striking, and he just stays on the outside and gets pieced up at range by OSP the whole 3 rounds. So if that happens, cut this motherfucker. Okay, moving down to the most sure lock of the card. Tim Means versus Court McGee. I'm going to go Tim Means KO round 1. Dude, Court McGee is so fucking bad. How is Court McGee still around? Bro, I feel like he's almost lost more than he's won. Definitely in UFC, but like his record is almost negative. Yeah. He got KO'd twice in his last 3 fights in round 1. And Tim Means has 20 KOs. I feel like they've just put this on the start of the card just to get a cool start to the event, you know? A nice, cool highlight KO from Tim Means, you know? I fuck with Tim Means, bro. Okay, guys, that's all from me. Thanks for watching. This is actually a pretty decent card. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like... I'm not really a huge fan of WMA, but I actually kind of am... I feel like the 2 WMA fights, or 2 of the 3, are actually really cool fights. I'm actually looking forward to Tecia versus Pennington and Pennington versus fucking Pena. I feel like, you know, they're actually pretty decent fights, you know. And, you know, of course, Alex Pereira, Alex Pereira, Khalil Roundtree is going to be a good fight. And, you know, I think it's pretty solid. I definitely will be purchasing this card. I will not be illegally streaming it. But, yeah, if you were going to illegally stream it, which I will not be, this feels like a really good card to do it, you know, because sometimes I want to buy cards because I'm like, I don't want it to lag at certain times, but, you know, this is a good card, but it's also not good enough to give a fuck if it lags. So, you know, it's kind of a cool middle ground. And it sets up the fucking banger 308 card, bro. I'm looking forward to that. It's just going to be hype as fuck. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.